We may be headed into summer, but I'm still thinking about football. Joe Sixpack, I'm going to go over the Eagles' road schedule and have you tell me the best beer from every city.
Okay, sounds great. By the way, what is this mystery beer? I have no idea. I found it in the back of my refrigerator. We're going to put our detective hats on and try to find out.
Sleuth that baby out. He's Joe Sixpack. I'm Glen Macnow from the Conshohocken Brewing Company Tap Room in Conshy. This is What's Brewing.
What's Brewing, brought to you in part by Monco Makers, powered by the Valley Forge Tourism and Convention Board, download the app, and by the Conshohocken Brewing Company, now with 5 locations.
Ready? Fire!
Whoa! Hey, do you guys want to come with us?
Hi, welcome to What's Brewing from the Conshohocken Brewing Company Tap Room in Conshy. Beautiful day. We're out on the back porch, right on the bike trail, riders, runners. It's phenomenal. I'm Glen Macnow. Joe Sixpack is my co-host, noted beer authority. And Joe, we got a guest today, Adam Kaplan, noted football authority from Sirius Satellite Radio, the Go Birds podcast with WIP. Hey, thanks for joining us, man.
Guys, thank you for the invite. You know, Glenn, as you'll recall, I was here for the opening 5 years ago.
Yes, you were.
Love the bike trail and the dogs. You know, I'm a dog guy,
Yes.
so my wife and I were actually here. We showed up to the opening. What a great venue you have here.
Thank you, man. Thanks for coming. So we decided today to start with a beer, which is Adam's favorite. You're partial to Golden Nails. We'll get into that in just a second, but we're going to start with the Conshy Brewing Company.
Right.
Blonde Ale, Joe Sixpack, Golden Ale's kind of a, I don't know if I want to say they've fallen out of favor, but they're not a hot beer now.
It is. Well, the name of this belies that, user-friendly. The idea is that it's a sort of an entry beer, easy drinking. Often was a beer that brew pubs made simply to have a beer for people who didn't like beer. But you know, that's not always the case with a blonde ale. You can have a lot of flavor in a blonde ale.
And I think this one does. Again, it's the warm weather. I want to drink something that you know is not going to knock me out. Maybe not too hoppy. Now, Adam, I know you tell me your background. You're not a big hop head, right?
Correct.
And you grew up. Give us your history.
Sort of lagers or ales. So my father, growing up in the 80s, it was either Beck's or Molson Golden.
I'm a Molson Golden guy myself.
Yes, you being from Buffalo, you're
Yeah.
the Canadian border. So
Sure.
I love Molson Gold. Now I want to make this clear. Not Molson Canadian, not Molson Ice, Molson Golden. And it's not always easy to find that. But that's something I will have. It's been going over 30 years. That is by far my favorite beer. No offense to anyone else, but that is my favorite beer.
We always make our guests bring us beer, and we
Yes.
pay them nothing. That's our 2 rules, Joe Sixpack.
Exactly.
So what did you bring
Worked
today?
so well so far.
This is Sierra Nevada beer for drinking. Love it. Absolutely love it, guys.
BFD.
Yeah, BFD. How could you forget that? I mean, it's so easy to
I
remember.
thought BFD stood for something else, but what do
this
I
is television. We want to clean it up.
All
so,
right.
beer for drinking. Actually, it does say beer for drinking on there, guys.
know? Okay, well, can't say the other thing. Joe Sixpack, Sierra Nevada, really one of the iconic early craft breweries.
It is, and it's funny that they made this beer because you know, they have a lot of full-flavored beers, but they turned around and said, we just want to make a beer in this nice 19.2 ounce can, a stovepipe.
Sure.
It says it's casually crushable. They wanted something you could just drink without thinking
Yeah,
too
I
much
like it.
about
And
it.
I know, again, maybe it's pejorative to say something's a lawnmower beer, but I like something like this in the warm weather.
Yeah, really, what's wrong with that? I mean,
Nothing's
some
wrong with
people
that.
just want to cool down
Nice
with a
and easy,
beer.
man.
It's refreshing.
All right, so I brought, actually, what did you bring? You go first there.
All right, so I've got a River Horse Summer Blonde, and this is from Jersey. We've had some other River Horse beers
Yeah,
over
good
the
stuff.
years, and let me get some fresh glasses here for us. River Horse, to me, this is just a really fine summer beer, and it actually has a good amount of flavor to it, and it's one of the reasons I brought it was, honestly, I think that this beer is underrated in our market. So I'd like to see more people grabbing this one.
I like that too.
It's
Pretty
really
good.
It's very mild,
got a
but
little,
it's nice.
But it's got a little bit more body than, say,
like
this
this
one here. So it's a little bit different.
All right, I brought you one of my favorites. This is, to me, kind of a classic, a standard. Victory from Downingtown, Pennsylvania, great local brewery that's been a while. This is their Summer Love in the new can. Joe Sixpack, you told me that Summer Love was meant to promote Philly as a tourist
It was
area?
originally promoted by the Visitors Bureau, rather branded by them to get people to recognize Philly as a great beer drinking city.
Well, let's find out.
Yeah.
Here you go. Here's to you. It's good.
It's good.
It really is.
This one has a little bit more hops in it, I think, than the other two that we've had.
You
or
can
three.
certainly taste the difference between the other beers. That one was stronger for me, for someone who's a little bit of a lighter fare.
All right, let me show you. These are some others that I picked up. Joe Sixpack, give me your thoughts on these. This is the new Belgian Dayblazer. Easy-going ale.
Yeah,
kind
I
of
think
states it right
again
there.
says it right there. Nice and easy drinking.
All right, now this is one of the yards. I forget what they call these, but the Jefferson's Golden Ale, where they model it after.
Exactly. Ales of the Revolution. It is an outstanding beer. This was my beer of the summer of 2018. I drank an awful lot of it. It's actually a high alcohol beer. Really, really
So we'll
good.
need to be sitting down for that. I got it.
Exactly.
Okay,
After the
and
second
this is-
one, you will be sitting down.
And this is a Belgian Golden Ale, and this is 8% as well.
Right.
Le Chouf.
The
I don't
Chouf.
even know.
Yes,
yeah.
from Belgium, and that's one of the things I should say to people as advice. If you're looking for a blonde ale that is a little bit more kick to it, look for the Belgian style ones. They tend to be a little bit more alcohol, and they have a yeast bite to it that produces another flavor.
All right,
So-
while we have Adam here, because you're a football guy, let's talk a little football.
Sure.
Really quickly, give me the 20 seconds per. I'm going to go to the NFL East. How was their off-season? Let's start with Washington.
Well, they have a new quarterback in Dwayne Haskins. That's their first-round pick. He'll eventually start, whether it's week 1, week 8. They're going to be a decent team, not great personnel overall. Somewhere 8-8, 9-7. Glenn.
Okay, that's fine. Well, they'll be happy with 9-7. All right, let's talk about the despicable Dallas Cowboys.
Well, the Dallas Cowboys on the start, pretty good football team, really good roster. But now Amari Cooper's got to play a full season because he snuck up on people. He destroyed the Eagles, but you know what? This guy's not real big physically, good football player. They're going to try to extend his contract. They will be good. They're going to be a little bit better than the Redskins.
All right, Adam Kaplan, how was the Giants offseason?
Giants have had the most tumultuous offseason I can remember in the NFC East in years, guys. Look, the quarterback situation is crazy. Defense isn't very good. Receiver core, remember they traded Odell Beckham Jr. after extending his contract last summer.
Good planning.
Yeah, not very good. So bottom line is not very good.
And the Eagles offseason was?
Very solid, very good.
I'd like to hear that. All right, we're going to come back. We're going to keep Adam here for another segment, and we're going to go through the Eagles' schedule and tell you the best beer to get in every city, where the Eagles are going from the Conshohocken Brewing Company tap room in Conshy. This is What's Brewing. Hi, it's Glen Macnow. You've seen some of our Conshohocken Brewing Company spots on this show, so I'd like to invite you to come and check them out. You can find us in Conshohocken, Bridgeport, Phoenixville, King of Prussia, and here in Havertown, where I'm enjoying an award-winning Puddler's Row right now. It's one of our year-round core beers, along with Type A IPA and user-friendly blonde ale. We've also got exciting seasonal beers, like Blood Money IPA, Philly Vice, and our Unfiltered IPA series. And come hungry. From burgers and wings to salads and small bites, there's something for everyone. Don't leave without trying the amazing cheese curds. The warm weather is here, so you can enjoy yourself on one of our outdoor spaces. And good news, you can find Conshohocken beers at grocery stores, distributors, and restaurants throughout PA, South Jersey, and Delaware. So get yourself to Conshohocken Brewing Company. I'll meet you at the bar. Welcome back to What's Brewing from the Conshohocken Brewing Company tap room in Conshy. We're outdoor on the deck looking at the bike trail. It's just a great time, and it's a lot of fun during the summer. And during the summer, Adam Kaplan, who's our guest, you travel and you go to the NFL cities. And because you're a beer guy, you really get the opportunity to try interesting things. Give us a couple of your favorite cities and maybe a haunt or two that our listeners might, or our viewers might find.
I'm someone like my wife and I love going to sort of divey bars or divey pizza joints. Okay?
Yeah.
So
Hold it. She loves doing that too?
we both
All
do.
right.
Yeah, we both do. That's why we're married. because we
Okay.
like the same
Mrs.
things.
Sixpack, I hope you're listening to this.
See? We meet sort of in the middle, Mr. Sixpack. So when I go out to Seattle, okay, I go to Renton, Washington. when I go to the Seahawks complex in Renton, it's right on the lake. The late Paul Allen built a beautiful complex, okay? You see these seaplanes come down, it's unbelievable. But there's a dive bar, and I'm sorry if Dino's if you're watching, but it's a dive bar to me, but I say it in all due respect. It's about 2 miles, guys, from their complex in Renton. And you walk in, you go, well, this place, oh boy, I don't know about this place. And then I sit down.
And that's it?
And I get their Pilsner, and I'm like, this is phenomenal. And I don't want to leave for like 2 or 3 hours. I stay, man.
Wow. All right, Dino's in Seattle. Give us one more when you travel.
And I'll give you another one. This will be my 15th tour going to Napa for the Raiders training camp in the back of the Napa Marriott.
And
okay?
maybe the last.
Well, this will be their last one,
Yeah.
and they haven't decided. Talking to the Raiders, Glenn, they haven't decided for the next season when they move to Vegas, but it is incredible. And for actually, I've only done it a couple times. Downtown Napa, some of the coaches invited me to go. I'm like, okay, I'll go out for a drink. It was awesome. And there is a place called Downtown Joe's Brewery and Restaurant. They've
That
an
sounds
old,
like my kind of place.
Old Magnolia oatmeal stout. I love stouts. I have the craziest taste in beer. I like stout because I like Guinness, so I like a strong beer.
Okay, there you go. 2 good spots. Now, I want to go through the Eagles' schedule,
Right.
Joe Sixpack, and you give me quickly the best beer. These are the 8 cities the Eagles will travel to this year. If you know a place, you want to throw something in, by all
please
means
do,
do.
yeah.
Joe Sixpack, Eagles' first game in Atlanta.
Atlanta, I think, is a Sunday night game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So Eagles fans going to Atlanta,
Road game, yeah.
they need to find a place to drink during the day and watch football. So I contacted my fellow beer writer, Ale Sharpton, down in Atlanta. Ale Sharpton.
Oh, that's a
And
great name.
He tells me to go to Rocky Mountain Pizza and drink beer there because it's a big place for
Pizza
Eagles
and
fans
All
down
right,
there.
Green Bay is not a big town. I imagine they drink beer in Wisconsin.
Titletown Brewing, of course.
Oh, that's so great.
Got to go there.
And cheese.
All right, and cheese. They then travel to Minnesota.
Minnesota, I'm not familiar too much with the breweries or the bars there, but in Minnesota, we've got the Surly Brewing. It's not available in Pennsylvania or New Jersey. Go there, bring some cans back for you and me.
It's fairly early on the schedule, so Eagles fans may want to travel there. It's not, they're not going to be going there in December. Next road trip is to Dallas. I love the barbecue in Dallas. What
Well,
about
are
the
we
beer?
talking Dallas or Arlington here? Because
Yeah.
I'm not really sure where to send folks in Dallas. With it wearing Eagles, so I think you'd
Whatever.
be safer in Arlington, drinking at Legal Draft. Great beer.
Legal
name.
Draft? You got a spot in Dallas you
No,
like?
actually, it's moved. It's now the Cowboys complex. I don't think it's no longer in Arlington. Remember
Oh,
the old
okay.
stadium. The old stadium was there. Of course, Jerry World.
Oh,
I
the new
think,
one's
has
in
moved it.
Irvine.
All right,
Right?
all right. Where the hell's Irvine anyway?
It's in the middle of nowhere. All right, my hometown of Buffalo, I recommend Duff's. Just as a great place to get beer and wings. To me, the Duff's is always
I'm going
the
to their
best
training
wings.
camp this summer, which is awesome.
Yes, Duff's
Oh,
is a great.
Rochester, by the way.
No, Duff's is in Buffalo.
Anything in
but-
Rochester? You got anything for me?
No.
Tennessee.
I know.
Rochester.
Oh yeah.
Tennessee beer.
Is that what you're recommending?
I would say from that area, if you want to get a craft brew, Resurgent Brewing is the one to check
All
out
right.
there.
Miami is a fine place to be going when the Eagles go there in November. Where should we go?
Place called Concrete Beach. This is a sleeper, but it was started by the guy that did Magic Hat Brewing. He sold Magic Hat and formed this brewery down there.
And the Super Bowl will be in Miami, don't forget.
Oh, there you go. All right, Concrete Beach.
Yes, Concrete.
There you go. So the Eagles fans get to go twice.
They could. Might
Boy,
very well be.
Wouldn't that be the greatest? All right. Second last road trip of the year is just down to Washington, an easy jaunt.
Washington gives me a headache when I go to drink beer there. The breweries seem to be a little bit too fancy for my taste. I suggest going to Alexandria and checking out Port City. Alexandria is actually closer to FedEx
And their
Field
training
anyway.
camp is in Richmond. Plenty of bars there.
All right.
Yes.
Very good. And then the last road trip is just right up the road to New York or Secaucus or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I would just pack your own beer and take it up there.
All right, very good. Adam, we got you for a couple more minutes.
Sure.
I want to ask you a couple more
got it.
questions. Let's talk about the Eagles draft, okay, which occurred at the end of April. A lot of people are very excited about the future of Miles Sanders. You think he's going to have an impact as a
I
rookie?
do, because he's so explosive. He's unlike anyone they have on the roster at the running back position, Glenn. I think he'll be terrific. And over time, because three out of their 4 running backs are on the final year of the rookie deals, he'll take over in 2020.
Okay. And the first round pick, the tackle?
He'll be the future left tackle. The reason why, Glenn, Howie Roseman has figured it out since he came back in 2016, it's all about the offensive defensive lines. When you're strong on the lines, you could dominate. They're going to have an incredible offensive line for the future.
All right. I am and have been a big Carson Wentz fan from the beginning. This being Philadelphia, the starting quarterback always has to come under a decent amount of heat.
Sure.
And he does play with the shadow of Nick Foles winning the Super Bowl. What's your thoughts on Carson coming up?
My only concern is the injury history. Nothing with talent. I was there when he hurt his knee in Los Angeles 2 years ago. This kid is a phenomenal talent. He is the most talented quarterback in Eagles history, but he's got to stay on the field. He is. He's incredible. But if he stays on the field, if he plays, Glenn, 15 out of 16 games, they'll win the division rather easily.
There you go. Sonny Jurgensen may disagree with what
Number
you
9.
said, but you know what? I like it. Adam, thanks for joining us, man.
Guys,
Take
thank
a
you.
few beers on
Thank
your
you.
way out.
Yeah, really.
Adam Kaplan, he's Joe Sixpack coming up. Joe Sixpack has had a mystery beer in his fridge, hopefully not for too many years. We're going to find it and try to sleuth out what it might be right here from the Conshohocken Brewing Company tap room in Conshy on What's Brewing. Welcome back to What's Brewing from the Conshohocken Brewing Company in Conshy, the tap room, where I'm putting together. You like Jenga?
Oh yeah, really.
You don't like Jenga?
I hate this game. You know why?
No.
People play it in these tap rooms and they
Yeah.
have a lot of fun, but then the damn thing like falls apart. And
There you go, good job.
It disturbs you. I mean, it
All
shakes
right,
you
well,
up.
I like Jenga. There's all kinds of games here to play. It's right on the bike trail. Fun times if you're not grumpy. Joe Sixpack. Here's this. I love this story because you discovered in your fridge, I don't know how anything can stay too long in your fridge, but you discovered an unlabeled. What do you got?
This happens actually every once in a while, and I can't really figure it out. But sometimes I just forget about beers that somebody gave me and put it in my refrigerator. And this one was completely unlabeled. I mean,
it has
there's nothing on it.
And it doesn't look like it ever did.
Right.
So we don't think a label fell off.
And there's nothing on the cap.
Let me get rid of this
My
Jenga.
question
We'll save
was-
this for later.
Okay, good.
Okay.
My
Yeah.
question is, what the hell is this beer? I have no idea. So let's try to figure it out. Let's put on our detective hats.
There we go. Let's sleuth it.
And figure this one
All right,
out.
I'm ready.
Okay, so as I said, no
All right.
label
So
on
wait,
it.
this could be like skunky and flat for
We-
all we know.
we don't know.
Do you
We
know
don't
how
know.
long it's been there?
I'm going to say at least 6 months.
Wait, at least 6 months
Yeah.
means it might be 5 years.
It could be.
Okay.
We don't clean the refrigerator.
go.
out a whole
All
lot.
right, let's
All
do
right.
it.
Okay, so I heard a little gas escape, so I think it's still carbonated.
No, that's a great
okay?
sign there. Okay, good.
All right, and
Yeah.
yes, it is.
Okay.
All right, it is a very clear, pretty clear actually. I see a little bit of haze.
Yeah.
Blonde beer. Mm-hmm. All right. We don't know.
It is hazy.
A little bit hazy.
It's got
but
a head on it.
But you can
What, I'm
see it.
supposed to guess?
Let's smell it, okay?
All right. Okay.
I get a little stale.
Funk.
Not funk, staleness. Well, maybe you get funk. I
yeah,
get stale.
I got funk. I didn't mean that in a good way. Okay, l'chaim.
Astringent.
That's what you come up with is
Astringent. Mouth puckering,
It's-
you know?
Yeah, it's sour, but not like a sour, not like
Right,
a
not
ghost.
yeah.
but just kind of like sour. Okay. All right,
I don't think
that's
it's
horrible.
gone bad.
All right.
All right.
go
So
ahead.
what do we think it is?
I think it's somebody's homebrew of a. They took a washcloth and wrung it
It
out.
does taste that. It does have a little bit of a drained feel to
Yeah.
it. I'm going to say that it's a. I think it's like a Pilsner. I think
Okay.
it's a Pilsner. It's attempt at Pilsner. So.
All right. Whoever made that for you, very nice gesture.
Well, I'm
Probably
sorry about
tasted
it.
better when, in
Yeah.
the 90s when the guy actually
Exactly.
made it. All right.
Speaking
Meanwhile,
of Pilsners.
there's a big controversy here.
Yeah, I don't know how big it is. It might be in my own mind, but it involves this beer, Victory Prima Pils.
Classic.
One of the
Love
best
it.
beers in the Philadelphia region.
Big
It's been a
fan.
flagship for Victory over the years. And then they went and they changed the label recently to
Okay,
this sort
nice,
of more
that's
cartoonish
attractive.
look. It's not too bad. I actually like this sort of the more classic look, but that's okay. But the word seeped out that they had also changed the recipe. copy on this beer, which is sort of like, editing the Bible, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You really shouldn't do that. So what I wanted to do was see
Exactly, of that reverence, sure.
was try to figure out if, in fact, the beer has changed. So you pour the old version there, and I'll pour the new version.
This is the old school.
Right.
Okay.
And this is the new one.
All right. Well, let's see if they look any different. I can't imagine they could look that different, right?
They shouldn't.
Okay.
You would hope
All
not.
right. Thank you. Good pour there.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
All right. So they're both still.
Yeah,
still
that looks
both
like
kinda
it's the
clean.
same beer to me.
Yeah.
Right. I see no difference.
All right.
All right. So we drink the old one
So
first.
let's do the old one first.
All
yeah.
right.
Classic. It's got that kind of like
crisp and clean.
sort of almost like a minerally
yeah,
kind of thing
it's
going
good.
on.
I like
really
it.
nice, crisp.
You know what? It's a good go-to
Nice
beer.
and hoppy. A little
All
bit
right.
of bitterness out there.
All right.
So.
Clean my palate.
All right.
Not sure how. This is a new one.
All right.
Oh, definitely different.
Yeah. It's
Definitely,
not.
that's a different beer.
Yeah. It is a different
It's
beer.
a fine beer.
It
I
is-
like it fine, but
It's scaled back on that kind of like sharp tang of bitterness that the
Yeah.
hops had, and it softened it up a
Little
good
bit.
So, I mean, and by the way, this
Now,
isn't
do
just, it's not just a rumor. I did contact Victory and talk to the founder, Bill Kowaleski, about it, and he did tell me that they've adjusted the way that they do the hops. It's still has as much hops in it, but not as much
okay.
bitterness.
I'm going to tell you I like it. I'm going to tell you I probably prefer the old.
Yeah.
I don't know that they're going to like to hear that, but how are consumers taking this?
Well, they say that the consumers do like this one more because more people. It's more
The new
accessible
one.
to people. I'm going to say, in another world, we might accuse Victory of dumbing down this beer because the brewery they've gone for a bigger mass market of drinkers as opposed to sort of this iconic flavor that they established. I don't think this is a bad beer in any way.
no, and we're not
but,
ripping it, but
Uh,
can I still find the old one anywhere?
yeah, that's probably the last bottle. So
I'm taking this one home
yeah,
with me. All right.
amazing the difference though.
Yeah, that is, and it's again, it's such a good local classic
Yeah.
beer. Any change is going to get noticed.
Yeah.
And I'm a big fan of Victory. Coming up, remember the guy we talked about who gave up everything for Lent except beer? We're going to find out if he's still alive. We're at the Conshohocken Brewing Company tap room in Conshy with Joe Sixpack. I'm Glen Macnow on What's Brewing.
I'm Joe Sixpack. I love beer and I love travel. I've visited great breweries around the world, and I'm inviting you to join me on my next expedition to France. Yes, they make beer in France. We'll travel the Seine on a luxury river cruise from Paris to Normandy. We'll visit breweries, explore the sights, drink great beer, and maybe some wine. Join me in October 2020. Just visit my website at phillybeerworld.com. Let's discover a world of beer together.
Welcome back to What's Brewing. We're at the Conshohocken Brewing Company in Conshy. Joe Sixpack, I know you're a big fan of the Puddler's Row.
Yeah, an extra
Our
special
ESP.
bitter. You know, I wish more people would make this, but I'm satisfied with this one too.
Yeah, it's
Pour me some
really,
of that, baby.
it's won a couple awards in the Great American Beer Fest. It really is one of the iconic beers here, one of my favorites. Speaking of beer, which is pretty much what we do on this show, if you remember earlier, we talked at the beginning of Lent about a guy named Del Hall in Cincinnati who decided for Lent he was giving up everything but beer, an all-beer diet, and you said it could cause some problems.
GI tract issues might arise.
Good news is he made it. Not only did he make it, we're going to show you the picture here. Del Hall made it, and I'm really organized, excuse me. He lost 44 pounds in the process. Here's Del Hall before and after.
Hold on, which is before and which is after?
All right, come on now. He said that he came to appreciate craft beer as better than the standard American fast food, which was kind of his diet beforehand.
Oh, yeah.
And now that he's learned, he is going to
So how many pounds?
drink beer. 44.
What? Not
How
too
many
shabby.
days is Lent? 40?
40 days or so, yeah, right?
Good work by Del.
Yeah.
And he said he spaced it out so he never actually felt drunk. Here's to you, Del.
Hey, not too
All right.
shabby.
In other news, and this is not good news, Weyerbacher Brewing, which has really been one of the leading beers here for a while. Bad news, huh?
Yeah, they filed for bankruptcy this past couple weeks. I guess it was early May now or late April. They filed for bankruptcy. They were underwater with a loan that was taken out to fund a brewery expansion, and that brewery expansion, interestingly, was basically to, they wanted to expand territory with that, but they were also brewing an awful lot of pumpkin beer, and it turns out that pumpkin beer sort of peaked and not
too
selling as
bad.
much of it.
Their
So-
Merry Monks has always been one of my favorite. Are they going to survive?
Yeah, they have new investment money, so that's good news, and I hope they do survive, because Weyerbacher has been one of the fundamental breweries of Philadelphia for over 20 years, I think it is, and just those big, beautiful beers. I'm a big fan of them.
So Weyerbacher, St. Benjamin.
Yeah, St. Benjamin just announced that they were going to close up shop. They sold the property. It just didn't work out for them. I don't think that brand really ever took hold in Philadelphia for whatever reason.
All right, so the question always comes, is the craft brewing bubble bursting?
Yeah, that's what everybody says. I think both breweries had the same issue that a lot of places have at that size, which is they either grow or they die, and they didn't grow.
Yeah, all right. So, in other news, Philly Beer Week, which has been around for a while, some controversy going on there involving a sponsor they've taken on.
Yeah, they picked up a company called Terra Vita as a sponsor for their opening tap. I had to disclose, I was the former director of Philly Beer
Yeah,
Week.
you were one of the guys who helped start that thing.
Exactly, and I think it was a bad idea. Terra Vita is a medical marijuana dispensary, and I think that it's just a bad look for them. They, first of all, there's a little bit of a competition aspect there.
Yeah, sure.
Weed is a competitor for beer, I think.
We get high one way.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing is, I think that there's an issue involving the image of beer, which has become very wholesome. I mean, we have families coming up to breweries.
Absolutely.
I don't think you see families going to marijuana dispensaries.
Yeah, I'm sorry to see them do that. All right, one other bit of news. We've been doing the IPA brew down on the show. I got to give you praise because you put together these brackets. We have had close races again and again. We put these on Twitter. You'll find the polls on my Twitter page at Real Glen Macnow, at his at Beer Radar.
Right.
We put them up, every couple of days. And we had some close ones here in the IPA brew down field of 32.
We really haven't. If you read the comments, you'd see it evenly divided between people with passions about every beer that is up there.
Everyone has its fans.
Exactly. So in the Keystone Keeper division, the Pennsylvania breweries, we had another tight one, 52 to 48%. Conshy H-Town.
There you go, baby.
Wins. That
Good.
was one of our the play-in beers, and
let me say, I
don't
did
even
no
vote.
lobbying. I did not lobby. It would be conflict.
It won
But
over
I'll take the win.
over the 2SP Bell Ringer, one of my other favorite
It's a fine
local
beer.
beers. And then in the Yo, I'm from Jersey category, this was one of my favorite matchups the whole way because these are two basic IPAs that I just love to drink right out of the can, actually, at any time. Ship Bottom the Shack.
Oh, that's a fine beer.
It is.
We went down there, had that
and
beer.
we're going to be returning to their beer garden in a couple weeks. Ship Bottom the Shack beat Spellbound IPA, also from Jersey, obviously, 51 to 49%.
Wow.
So really close.
Very close. Well, we appreciate everybody who got involved in voting. We love to hear from you, and we love doing the show. And we've loved spending our day here at the Conshohocken Brewing Company tap room as the train goes by, in Conshy, overlooking the bike trail. Joe Sixpack, here's to you. We'll see you next week on What's Brewing.
What's Brewing, brought to you in part by Macnow Makers, powered by the Valley Forge Tourism and Convention Board, download the app, and by the Conshohocken Brewing Company, now with 5 locations.